so first we'll roll through a few questions here on stage, and then we'll open it up to you all in the audience. We begin with Frank Camas. And Frank, I understand that you guys just launched your brand new AC45S test boat in France. First of all, congratulations. Now, while your team hasn't scored that high in the series so far, but fast designs have always been a major factor in your sailing successes. So is it fair to assume that your team has some design features up your sleeve that might surprise us all when we get to Bermuda next year?
Yes, I hope. It's already a very good first step for us to launch the boat 1 year after the launching of the team, because we are a late entry, and the design team and the building team did a very good job. For the surprise, I don't know. We follow our process and our development, but if we can do some surprise, but good surprise, the goal is to be fast, not to be surprising.
Okay, well, we're yet to see. Thank you, Frank. And moving over to Dean. Now, Dean, is it fair to say SoftBank Team Japan has really found its stride in this series? You won the practice race in New York. You won every single practice race in Chicago. You won 2 races in the competition to take 3rd overall. Should all of these other teams on the stage now take notice, particularly Oracle Team USA, that you guys are on par and looking at winning the America's Cup?
Oh, thanks, Tucker. Yeah, very early days. Yeah, it's this event here in Portsmouth sort of marks 1 year that the team's been in operation. So, you know, we've been very focused on just trying to develop as a group. You know, assemble a team, get set up in Bermuda. You know, do some great sailing with Artemis and Oracle in Bermuda, and really focusing on next year. So, you know, the World Series for us is a fantastic opportunity to measure progress. You know, we're obviously very happy with the way that the team has been developing, but you know, still a long way to go. And you know, we made mistakes in Chicago, and I'm sure, like all teams, we're looking to try and keep improving and put a good result together here.
Well, Dean, I'm sure you'd agree the performance curve is going in the right direction. So good luck to you and your team this weekend. And now we move to Francesco Bruni, Artemis Racing, and we understand that you're driving this weekend in for helmsman Nathan Outteridge, who's preparing for the Olympic Games. Are there any challenges for you getting up to speed as a helmsman in this event?
Oh, plenty. I'm very excited to be here, taking Nathan's spot. It's not going to be easy, but Nathan is busy with the Olympic Games, and I'm very excited to have this chance. I'm actually hoping that the Olympic Committee choose to have Olympic Games every month from now to the Cup, and have a chance to steer more. Yeah, so interesting times.
All right, thank you, Francesco. And moving over to Jimmy Spithill. Jimmy, you guys have managed to be on the podium in every single event except the last one, and you've averaged 2nd overall in the series. We all know how much you hate to lose personally. How badly do you want to finally put a win on the scoreboard, and what have you and your team identified as the factors to do differently to post a win here in Portsmouth?
Well, I think we'd all love to win up here. There's no 2 ways about that. You know, to win this World Series, it really is about consistency. And you highlight a great point. You know, for the first time, both Team New Zealand and ourselves finished off the podium in Chicago, and you know, the results do the talking. We finished exactly where we deserved to finish. We've obviously gone back, worked pretty hard, learned a lot from that performance, and we're really looking forward to getting back out there and bouncing back. But that just says a lot about the fleet now. You know, you make mistakes, you get punished, and it was a great series, and we're looking forward to another one here in Portsmouth. I think the crowds will be even bigger this year.
All right, thanks, Jimmy. And now to Glenn Asprey, Emirates Team New Zealand. You're currently driving the boat this week at the helm while Peter Burling is at the Olympics. Do you feel any added pressure to fill Burling's shoes as a helmsman to try and maintain Emirates Team New Zealand's lead in this star-studded fleet?
No.
Can you expand on that?
Oh, look, you know, it's a wonderful opportunity, I think, for both Francesco and myself. You know, both you know, Pete and Blair and Nathan Goobs are just about to embark on a you know, a hugely you know, massive task at the Olympic Games. So really, for those guys, you know, the battle very much is going to continue on the water for them. And all the guys sitting here beside me have done a huge amount of yachting over the last few years, and I think as Jimmy's just said, the competition is very fierce, but for me, unfortunately disappointing a lot of my mates around the world stepping down to the helmsman position.
All right, thank you, Glenn. And finally, the man of the hour, Sir Ben Ainslie. Well, Ben, congratulations are obviously in order to you and your wife, Georgie, on your new baby. Everybody well? Sleeping okay?
Yeah, very good, thanks, Tucker. It was a huge moment for us, first baby this last weekend, so yeah, we're absolutely delighted with that. I managed to get Georgie and the baby home last night, and so they're well looked after.
Oh, please give him a huge round of applause, folks. New daddy. And then your new daughter's name.
Yeah, she's called Bellatrix, which is something to do with being goddess of war. So hopefully she'll be behind the team when we're in Bermuda next year.
I'm sure she will. So now back to the business of racing. We kicked off the Louis Vuitton America's Cup World Series here last year in Portsmouth, in your hometown. And you guys came out and won the event, which was clearly impressive. And now we're back for the second time, and you sit second overall, tied with the man to your left, Jimmy Spithill, and Oracle Team USA. You're also within striking distance of the lead overall. No pressure there, Glenn. Emirates Team New Zealand. How important would a win be for you in front of the hometown crowd in Portsmouth and for your country, Great Britain, this weekend?
Well, last year was massive for us as a brand new team and organisation to come out and be able to win this first event as a new team and the first event in this World Series in front of the home crowd. And we would absolutely love to repeat that again this year. And it's the last time we get to race in the UK before the Cup next year in Bermuda, so the guys are really fired up to try and put on a good show. I think it's, we've got the weather forecast, we've got all the great teams here, and it should be some fantastic racing.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Good luck this weekend. Back to you, Frank. Now, in Oman, you guys won your first race. You repeated that in New York, and you ended up on the podium in New York, finishing third. So, what can we expect from Groupama Team France this weekend here in Portsmouth?
Actually, we were for sure upset with the result in Chicago, but it's always a good opportunity with Vuitton World Series to improve our skill and to race against this guy. And we will see here. I think, as you say, the forecast will be very good, and we will do 6 races with a good win. And we changed a little bit our crew with Adam coming at the sheet trimming, and we will see. It's a good new organization, new language on board also, but it's good to test.
All right, bonne chance, my friend. I'm sure you'll impress us. Back to Dean. Dean, the final event of the Louis Vuitton America's Cup World Series schedule this year is in Fukuoka, Japan. I'm sure that's very big for your team. What can we expect in Japan, and how important is this event for SoftBank Team Japan?
Well, we're very excited to have an event in Japan. I haven't been to Fukuoka yet, but from everything that Fuku's been saying, it's just going to be a great place to go and race, to try and showcase our team in Japan, and have America's Cup racing in Asia for the first time. So, a huge thank you to obviously to SoftBank and the organisation there to be able to sort of pull it together. It's something that we're very proud of, and something very much looking forward to.
All right, well, thank you, Dean. We're all looking forward to it as well, and I'm sure that Japan will put on quite a good show. Francesco, now, it's a lot easier to be sitting critiquing the team rather than being on it, of course, when you look at some of the results. You guys have had 2 wins, tied with Emirates Team New Zealand and Land Rover BAR, also on 2 wins for the series so far. But to be fair, you guys have been relatively inconsistent overall in the series, either averaging first or last. Why the inconsistency, and what made the difference for you guys in Bermuda and at the last event in Chicago with the wins?
Well, we had a lot of crew rotations, like in other teams, and I think we finally found a good formula that worked really well in Chicago. But our goal here is to get into the podium, and I know that I have a great team behind me, and they're going to help me as much as they can to fill up the spot for Nathan. So I think we're in good shape.
Okay, all right, thank you, Francesco. Jimmy, back to you. You guys, as you well know, are tied for second overall with Land Rover BAR and Ben Ainslie, and very close to Emirates Team New Zealand. This weekend could turn the scoreboard around, certainly with a win here in Portsmouth. How much would that boost you and your team, and how much would you love to beat Sir Ben Ainslie, your former teammate, here in his hometown in Portsmouth?
Oh, it'd be great. Look, we'd love to get a good result here. It's, you know, Ben will obviously have the hometown support here. There'll be a lot of energy to draw from that. But, you know, in some ways that's quite motivating for us as well. So, yeah, look, the guys are all fired up. We think it's setting up for a pretty nice weekend of racing. And we'll just have to get out there and let the best team win.
All right, thank you, Jimmy, and good luck. Glenn, over to you. You know, there's obviously no question that you guys have been dominant the entire Louis Vuitton America's Cup World Series so far, currently leading it. But the last event, Chicago, was your team's worst performance overall. First time you weren't on the podium, ending up 4th place. Is that a sign that your advantage in this fleet is wearing off and that the other teams might possibly be catching up?
Don't know. Look, you know, the racing in Chicago was fantastic. You know, we had a great regatta there. You know, it's one of those ones that you go out there and you give it your best every time. And you know, to go into that regatta, you know, with an 8-point lead and come out of the regatta with an 8-point lead, you can sort of argue either way that you've had a good one or a bad one. But obviously, this regatta for us here is a totally different kettle of fish. We've got 2 new crew members on board for this regatta, Sam Bell on the bow, and also Richard Meacham joining us. So for myself, you haven't really spent a lot of time on the wood for you know, for a long time. So it's going to be a really interesting event for us. We're going to make sure we have a lot of fun, and hopefully you know, we can put a few races together to give these guys a bit of a hurry up.
All right, well, as your mate Jimmy said to your right, the results will certainly speak for themselves. Good luck to you and your team this weekend. And finally, Ben, Sir Ben, do you know how many British challengers there have been for the America's Cup?
Catch me out on my America's Cup history. Quite a few.
Quite a few. So, okay, well, we'll move on to the point is, it's fair to say that you guys have some unfinished business to do on behalf of Great Britain. I know you've stated that. Your team's objective, of course, is to do what no other British challenger's been able to do in 165 years, and that is to beat the American defenders and finally bring the cup back home to England. I know you've said it before, but why is this time different for this team?
Well, I think all of these guys who've been involved with the America's Cup, you know how complex the competition is, you know, from a sailing perspective, from a design and engineering perspective, and you know, to be successful, you have to get all of those different components together at the same time. And as you mentioned, we've had many British challenges over the years. I think probably most famously Sir Thomas Lipton back in the early 20th century, but never quite got there. And you know, this time we've tried to approach it differently with a lot of experience from different campaigns. You know, some successful, some not successful, but I think you learn from all of those. And you know, we've got a fantastic group of investors, of backers, some amazing commercial partners. We're a great sailing team, design team, and we're really working incredibly hard. Doesn't mean ultimately we will be successful, but you know, guarantee if we're not successful this time, we're going to keep going until we do eventually get that cup back home. That's what it's about for us, and that's what motivates everyone here in the organisation to come in and keep pushing so hard.
Okay, well, thank you, Sir Ben. Notice has definitely been served. And now we'll open it up to you all, the members of the media and the audience. There's a roving microphone. If you'll raise your hand and state your name and the publication that you're from, and we can get your questions. Yes, sir.
Hi, Blue Robinson from Seahorse Magazine. Question for Jimmy. Following Chicago, I'm sure you and the team were not satisfied with the outcome there, and you're standing now in the race standings. Specifically, what have you done since Chicago to address this?
Well, we've spent a lot of time with our coach, Philippe Presti, who I've been fortunate enough to be working with for quite a long time now. But we really went back. The beauty of the racing today is you have a lot of the TV footage of not only yourself, but of the other teams. And that's something, you know, that's been quite tough in the sport of sailing to get. But it's great now. When you look at the technology, we can really go in depth, we can break it down, and we can see if teams are doing different styles, different techniques, have somewhat different playbooks for manoeuvres, strategy, and even better, we can hear what they're saying. And that's the same for us too, because obviously we're all mic'd. Having said that, Ben does have a little bit of profanity coming off his boat, a little bit more than others, but no, look, we can go there and really learn, and that's what we've done. We've really looked at the teams that did well and said, look, what are they doing differently, if anything, and then looked at ourselves pretty candidly and said, well, what can we do better and how do we improve? And so I think we've done a pretty good job of that. Having said that, you've got to get out there, and that's racing and that's competition. But yeah, we've worked pretty hard since Chicago to try and learn what we can.
All right, thank you. Next.
Hi, Alistair Eakin from ACTV. This is a question for Sir Ben. Can you tell us, Ben, exactly what home advantage means here to you in practical terms? How does it affect things in a tangible way? Is it because you know the waters very well? Is it the wind patterns? How will it help you?
I think two key elements. One is, as you were saying, on the water. Although actually the racecourse we have here in Portsmouth, half of it is on the shipping channel. So as a home team, we can't actually access that racecourse on a daily basis. Otherwise, the Queen's Harbour Master would be shutting us down pretty quickly, I think. Probably the bigger factor, I think, is just the home crowd, the home support. We race so close to the shoreline here now that you can hear those people cheering you on. And when you're at home and they know that mostly they're cheering you on, cheering your team on, that really motivates the guys to work that much harder. And that's why it is so special for us to be racing at home.
Okay, next. Matt over here.
Hi, Matt Sheehan from the World Sailing Show. Question for Ben. Ben, obviously there's a lot of pressure and focus on you in your home area and the rest of it, but I just wondered what this event means, because the Cup itself is looming next year. It's getting quite close now. What does this event mean? How important is it in the road to Bermuda next year?
I think for all of the teams, we're now sort of getting to the business end of this World Series, and the points, for those top two teams, you do carry some points forwards to the next stage of qualifying, and so that is reasonably important. Although when we get to Bermuda, we'll be taking our own boats, our own designs, and the game starts again in match racing as opposed to the fleet racing that we're doing here. So I think that's the importance for all of the teams with the World Series. For us, again, as a home team, it was really important to do well in the first event to sort of establish ourselves as a new organisation, and again, to do well on our home waters is really important for us.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Next question. Over here.
Andy Rice with a question for Glenn
sorry.
Ashby. Sorry, yeah, for me. Is that all right? Hi, Glenn. The lessons to be learned from events like this, is there anything technical that you can learn, or is it more about the team building?
Yeah, certainly for us, Andy, it's very much about the team building. To be here with a completely new crew makeup effectively is a great challenge, but it also gives the other sailing team members in our team an opportunity to get out on the water and enjoy some racing. So basically 4 out of the 5 guys on board will be out of position, and 2 of those guys will be new to this circuit. So it's going to be an interesting week, but certainly for us there's going to be a huge amount of takeaways from this, and I think just exposing the other guys to the type of sailing that we're doing going forwards will no doubt make us stronger as a team over the next few months.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Over here, yeah.
Hi, Alex Smith from Reuters. This is a question for all of you. The Cup's always been plagued by uncertainty. Can we have a show of hands from the stage, there's 6 of you up there, who would support a framework agreement which would put some rules around what the Cup would look like from here on in? So that's, is that 5 out of 6 or 4 out of 6? 4 out of 6, I reckon, but leave those at the back to be the arbiters. Thank you. Perhaps, maybe Ben or Jimmy could talk a bit about why it's important.
Well, I can start. I mean, traditionally the America's Cup has been sort of plagued by inconsistency. You have a fantastic event like the one we had in 2013, which really captures people's imagination, and then there's a break for 18 months, 2 years to reorganise the next event. And what I think all of us as sailors want, and we can see commercially the viability of having that consistency. So whether it's a biannual event and you can commit to a class of boat or World Series and really then get that continuity and grow out TV networks, commercial partners and all of the teams. So that's what we're striving towards, we're working towards as a group of teams, and hopefully we'll get there.
Completely agree. I mean, what we want is a regular season, like a lot of other sports have. The great thing about this event is it has, well, it's got the longest history. There is no other sport that's been going for this long, or this sort of trophy. With that, it comes somewhat of a little bit of baggage, with this being a gift and that, but the point is we have a great opportunity here to try and lock this in, and not only will it obviously benefit the guys sitting up here right now, but more importantly, it's going to benefit the next generation, of the kids out there and the athletes that are coming from the Rebel Youth America's Cup. So that, I think, really motivates us. And we're doing everything we can. I mean, in the past, I think it used to be kind of lawyers and rules advisors that used to sit in these meetings, and now we're getting the skippers in the meetings, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that have to go out there and put themselves on the line representing the athletes. So, yeah, I think we're taking some good steps, and hopefully we can be in a position to announce something for the future.
Andy.
Andy Green from America's Cup Events. Very unusual to hear Jimmy and Ben both agreeing wholeheartedly with each other. So I've got a question for Jimmy. There's always been subterfuge and intrigue in the America's Cup. Now you're here in Portsmouth, Ben's home. Have you had anyone checking out his new technology or following the boats around on the racecourse recently?
We've got people here full time, and so does he. I mean, effectively, any time we sail in Bermuda, we're followed. Dean sails, Artemis, and vice versa with Ben. I mean, this is the level the game's at. There are specific rules about how you can, I guess, monitor another team and what you can do. But it is part of the game. I mean, we live in a world where you can learn a lot by looking outside of what you're doing and learn from someone else. And that's not, you see that not just in sport, but you see that in industry as well.
And Emirates,
you might just want to discuss those special shots you got the other week.
The wing hitting the shed, or
no, the other shot,
the rudder toe.
There you go. Well, great. Thanks very much. And Glenn Ashby, to you. Last cycle of the America's Cup, there was a general feeling that perhaps you were first to foil, and you perhaps showed your hand a little earlier than you might have done. Have you got some secrets that you're not showing off this time?
Well, that photo was photoshopped, Andy, so I figured it out. No, look, I mean, it's the fact that we haven't been on the water yet, it's been pretty good to keep everything a bit of a secret, I guess. So, maybe we do that for another few months, I don't know. But look, at the end of the day, it's very much a technology race, and I think largely with these boats, it's what you can't see is actually the key to this. Probably next couple, a lot of the boats, well, in fact, all the boats will look very, very similar, apart from the graphics and the paint jobs. But it's really what's under the bonnet that's the big difference. A lot like in motorsport. So the testing, the development, and the hours and hours and hours that go, on the water testing, as well as what happens in the design office with the designers and the engineers. That's really the key to being successful at the actual America's Cup itself. So a lot of work to do for us, but a lot of work to do for all these guys. So it'll be an interesting one next year.
All right. Alec.
Alec Wilkinson, ACTV. Glenn, you seem to be in disagreement with Ben and Jimmy on the future framework of the America's Cup. Why is that? What are your ideas?
Yeah, look, I guess the America's Cup, the deed of gift is a very long-standing deed, and we find it hard to be able to lock into something that it largely has been, an open competition for a very, very long time. So whilst I love sailing multi-hulls and I love looking after the future direction of our sport, it's very, very hard to lock into something that's been long-standing for a very, very long time. So that's the position we're at the moment.
Francesco, hi, how are you? I'm Nick, nice to meet you finally. Francesco, where will you be happy finishing over this weekend? I know you're just jumping into the role, but where will you personally be happy?
First? No, I think podium would be plenty of a good result. I don't think I can aim for much more than that, but you know, never say never, and yeah, we'll try as much as we can to win it.
I don't doubt that at all. And are you going to rely on the team to get you through this? I know that...
A lot, because I think the guys have done such a good job in Chicago that you can really feel that they have a lot of experience on the boat. So I'm the weak part of it.
Isn't that awful to think that you're the weak link? That's terrible.
It is. Nah.
No, I think you're a pretty strong weak link.
Yeah. No, I think I've been preparing a lot, watching videos and talking to the boys, and a lot of what we call dry sailing.
Yes.
I'm ready for a little bit of wet sailing in 20 minutes.
Perfect. Well, I bet you can't wait to get out there, so I won't hold you up, but thank you for stopping to talk with me, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Good,
Great
how
to
are
talk
you?
to you.
Good.
Good. You excited for another weekend of racing?
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be, well, forecast would suggest it's going to be a bit of fun. So, hopefully we get the sea breezes Saturday, Sunday, and get some good racing.
I'm really excited. We may get 2 days of racing in, which has been hard to come by.
Well, it'd be nice if we get all three, actually. You know, like today should be, pretty bottom end, but it's but just a good opportunity to go and sort of blow the cobwebs, and then Friday 3 practice races, and then do it. So it'd be nice to come away with 9 decent races over the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys have been doing a bit of racing in Bermuda as well, in the newer boats. That must be fun.
It was great. Yeah, it was a really good sort of taste of what to expect for next year. And so we did a bit of a mix of fleet and match racing. The 3 teams. It was really, really good. And so I think everyone's learned a lot. The 3 teams certainly, I'm sure, have taken a lot away from it. For Ian Murray and the race, the race sort of organisation side, I think they've learned a hell of a lot as well. So it's going to make next year a lot smoother.
Everyone's saying that perhaps the teams that are based in Bermuda are getting a leg up now more than ever.
Well, I think the advantage you have is that you're able to go out and train with other teams and I guess measure yourself all the time, as opposed to training in isolation. So in that respect, for sure, it's good. But sometimes what you can't see is not the best either. So while we're sort of obviously keep an eye on the other teams and what they're doing, until you line up, you're not really quite sure who's got the measure of the other one. So it'll be obviously very intriguing next year.
It's going to be awesome racing, no doubt, and I'm sure this weekend will be brilliant too. Good luck for the event.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. Yeah. Say hello and congrats. Hello, congratulations. Oh, so awesome. Very, very cool. Nice to see you. I'll talk to you another day. Have a lovely afternoon and sleep well, hey? No worries.